I had had a really rough day. After filming, I squeezed through the crowd of fans and finally came to my room. I was hoping to soak in a hot tub and rewatch my favorite videos on the Private Diary channel, but then the door of my dressing room burst open and some wacko burst in. "Virginia, I'm your biggest fan. I'd sell my soul to the devil for a date with you." He tried to kiss my hand, but I jerked away and screamed before he could slobber all over it. Security guards ran into the room and chased my obsessed fan away. I leaned against the wall, exhausted. Jeez, I'm sick of this. Hi, I'm Virginia. I was a very shy child. My parents signed me up for a drama club, hoping it would open me up. I was quite talented and soon discovered by a producer. My life was turned upside down. Filming, contracts, fame. I realized that the life of an actress was not as carefree as it seemed. Crazy fans were watching my every move, and my producer didn't let me rest at all. At some point, I was so exhausted that I signed a contract he gave me without reading it, only to later find out I had agreed to take part in a ridiculous reality show in which a dozen guys were supposed to compete for my heart. Sometimes the things that happened on the set of that show went beyond the bounds of reason. Seriously, the guys were literally fighting for my attention like savages. Luckily, we finished filming it. The show organizers named a guy called Norman the winner. After fulfilling the terms of the contract, I finally breathed a sigh of relief and decided to have a good rest. But then I walked into the dressing room, my eyes bugging out. Norman was standing there on one knee and holding out a ring to me. "What are you doing?" "I'm proposing. I won your heart." Dude, first of all, we're teenagers. Besides, you do realize it was a reality show, right? None of it was real. My feelings for you are real. You don't even know me. I know you're the most beautiful girl in the universe. Norman crawled up to me on his knees. I freaked out and called security. They pinned down the crazed fan and dragged him out. "You should have agreed to be mine. I'll make you regret this." He'd clearly lost it. I came back home, but another obsessed fan was waiting for me there. I'm so sick of this. I desperately needed to take a break from being popular and be an ordinary student. So I hid my hair under a red wig, got contacts to hide the color of my eyes, put on ugly glasses and baggy clothes. Ta-da! The famous actress Virginia turned into an ordinary girl, Gina. My parents were having a dinner party, so I came to the big hall to see if they would recognize their own daughter. What a boring party. You guys need to loosen up. Let's go to the pool. Who let this wacko in here? Guards, kick her out. Hold your horses. It's me. Virginia? Why do you look like this? I told my parents I needed a break. At first, they were against me going to an ordinary school dressed like Gina. It took a while to convince them to help me, but eventually they gave in. "All right, sweetie, we will always be on your side. I'll call my sister Agnes and ask her to take you in for a while. She lives modestly. I think you'll quickly feel like an ordinary schoolgirl." I couldn't wait to move in with Aunt Agnes. The only problem was her daughter. If there were ever a contest for the person with the worst temper, my cousin Karen would have easily taken first place. She couldn't stand me. When we were kids, Karen dreamed of becoming an actress too, but I ended up being the only one chosen at the audition. Still, I hoped my cousin would leave the past in the past. After all, my parents gave her a new iPhone and asked her not to tell anyone who I was. With that taken care of, I finally went to a regular school for the first time the next morning. On the way there, an angry dog scared me. It was looking at me like I was steak, and I was sure it was about to pounce on me. But then, a ball fell next to the dog. It whined and ran away with its tail tucked between its legs. A guy with a cheeky smile and a sly look in his eyes picked up the ball. "Thank you. That was very sweet of you. I'm Gina. What should I call my savior?" "First of all, I was just messing around and only saved you by accident. Don't even think about hitting on me. You're not my type, sweetheart." He twirled the ball on his finger and left. For a moment, I stood there, frozen. I had just been turned down for the first time in my life. It was such an unusual feeling. I couldn't help but smile. Things kept getting more interesting by the minute. At school, I felt invisible among my classmates. And you know what? I loved it. Finally, no one was staring at me trying to take a picture of me or pull out my hairs for a souvenir. I sat down at an empty desk in the classroom. The boy with the sly eyes walked in, still playing with the ball. Another boy greeted him, and that's how I found out his name was Mason. "We meet again, sweetheart." "Are you hard of hearing? I told you my name is Gina." "I don't care. You're in my seat. I don't see a sign with your name on it. Look at your jeans." "What?" It turned out I sat on the gum Mason had used to mark his chair. "Come on, new girl. Give us a show. Cry." Did he think he would get to me? Ha! He had another thing coming. I looked at the stain on my jeans and grinned cheerfully. "I like it. I think it looks cool." Oh, wow. I was hell's wrong about you? You're a weirdo. Later in the dining room, I saw Karen telling her friend something. Then one of them abruptly yanked out my chair when I tried to sit down. Naturally, I plopped down on the floor and everyone around me waited to see what would happen next. They wanted me to start crying like a baby, but instead, I shrugged nonchalantly and started to eat right off the floor. Wow, the food tastes a million times better down here. Has anyone see where this weirdo's dropped her brains? You're sure something, new girl. I didn't care about seeming weird. Before, I had to constantly watch my every move because everything I did immediately ended up online. Now that I was Gina, I could do any dumb thing I wanted and not care about the consequences. The next lesson was history. I walked into the classroom and saw a bunch of girls crowding around some guy. My heart sank when I realized it was Norman. I was terrified he might recognize me, but that psycho was too busy showing off in front of the other girls. Apparently, after the show came out, Norman earned cheap popularity. Karen saw me turn white as snow and immediately asked Norman, "Is it true that after the reality show, Virginia begged you on her knees to marry her?" "Yes, she's absolutely obsessed with me. But Virginia is not as beautiful in real life as she is on screen. Her breath stinks and her skin looks like she's an old woman's. Of course I turned her down." Karen giggled and I wanted to slap the living daylights out of Norman. That moron deserved to eat soap for telling such blatant lies. But I had to keep my mouth shut since I didn't want to be discovered. And then a ball hit Norman. Mason had kicked it, this time on purpose. "Shut up, you idiot! Virginia is the most beautiful girl in the world. Don't you dare talk about her like that." I blinked in surprise. Was Mason a fan of mine? Whoa. While I was lost in thought, Norman ran up to get the principal like a total coward and complained about Mason. "He hit me with a ball!" "Mason, I'm so tired of your antics." It turned he was the biggest prankster at school. For example, one day he brought a pig to class and all the teachers chased after it until they collapsed. Mason was definitely nuts, but he was also freaking charming. At recess, I came out into the hallway and another friend of my cousin's knocked a mock volcano over on me. Ah! The lava is so hot! Oh wait, it's just ketchup. I went into the bathroom while Karen and her friends laughed like hyenas. I needed to get myself cleaned up, but instead, I pulled my wig off and leaned over the sink wearily. It turned out that being Gina wasn't that much easier than being Virginia. At that moment, I got a call from Dad.
"Sweetie, how are you doing? If things get too hard, you can always go back to your normal life."
To be honest, I was considering it, but then I heard the door creak. I hung up and frantically pulled my wig back on. The next second, Mason burst into the room. Phew, that was close. This is a girl's bathroom. I know, I just like to break the rules. By the way, I heard that Karen got her friends to make fun of you. Do you want to get back at her? Let's put worms in her purse. No! Take them away! Fine, be that way. I'm going to prank the principal. See you later, weirdo. After he left, for some reason, I couldn't help but smile. But then I was startled by my ringtone. Why did you hang up? We weren't done talking yet. Do you want to go home? No, Dad. I'll stay here for now. I don't know why I said that. I guess Mason caught my interest and I wanted to watch him a little bit more. The teacher at the school's drama club paired me up with Mason, and I devoted the evening to learning my lines. Aunt Agnes was kindly putting lemonade next to me when her daughter came into the room. "My mom is not your maid, got it? She did it because she's a good host. Not that you know anything about that. Why are you picking on me at school? It's nothing personal, baby. You wanted to feel ordinary. Well, that's how new kids are usually treated. Enjoy, do whatever you want, as long as you don't tell anyone who I am, especially Norman. I remember my deal with your parents." One day, I was coming home from school when I saw Mason and his friends playing soccer. I don't know if it was an accident or not, but Mason's ball suddenly landed at my feet. "Hey, don't stand there like a statue. Kick the ball here." Okay. I went up to the ball and tried to kick it hard, but it didn't budge because I missed. Who kicks like that? Come here, I'll teach you how to do it. I thought it was cute and joined the boys. Mason patiently taught me how to play even after the guys had long left. Soon it started to get dark and we headed home too. Mason playfully nudged me with his elbow. "Don't think I'm walking you home or something, Gina. I live here too. Did you finally remember my name? That's progress." All of a sudden, the heavens opened up. I was afraid the water would ruin my wig and tried to hide from the rain under a tree, but Mason pulled me toward his house. "Come on, you can stay at my place until it stops." When we walked into his room, I saw posters with my real face all over the walls. It left me with mixed feelings. It seems you really do have a crush on Virginia. It's because she's pretty, right? A year ago, I saw her bring new toys and sweets to an orphanage. There were no cameras around, so I know she didn't do it for good PR. That day, I realized she was the most wonderful girl in the world. A pleasant shiver ran down my spine. I was glad Mason didn't only like me for my looks. After After all, even though sometimes I wanted to hit him with something heavy, I also liked him, really liked him. I even wanted to tell Mason who I was, but I decided it wasn't time yet. The next day, we both came to the rehearsal at the drama club. Soon, according to the script, it was time for Mason's character to kiss me, but he started coming up with excuses not to do it. I didn't brush my teeth today. My lips are chapped. I ate a burrito with onions. The teacher got tired of waiting and demanded we stop delaying the rehearsal. Mason had no choice but to kiss me. He quickly brushed his lips against mine and turned away. It was so ironic and sad. Mason adored me as an actress, but thought I wasn't good enough for him when I was an ordinary girl. It made my blood boil. I felt gutted as I walked home. Are you pissed because I didn't want to kiss you? For your information, kissing me is not a punishment. There are a lot of guys who dream about it, and I'm a great kisser. Oh really? Then let me try again. Before I could react, Mason pulled me in and pressed his lips to mine. This time our kiss was long and sensual. It was so exciting that I felt my knees shake. I refused to do this rehearsal because I wanted to figure out my feelings for you first, sweetheart. With a mysterious smile, he left. The next day, he avoided me like he still had doubts. It was driving me up the wall. I was watching a movie with Karen and Aunt Agnes in the evening when he finally called me. I'm going to Norman's party. Will you come with me? I thought you couldn't stand that moron. I'm not going there to have fun, but to prank him. Well, are you with me? Actually, I knew I should stay away from Norman so he wouldn't recognize me, but I really wanted to see Mason and agreed to come. I'm going to the party. I won't be late. I was making my way through the crowd and trying to find Mason when Norman suddenly grabbed my arm. What are you doing? You'll see, baby. He attracted the attention of all the guests and pulled my wig. Would you look at this? It's Virginia herself. I told you she was crazy about me. She even pretended to be an ordinary schoolgirl to get closer to me. Virginia fooled us all. Everyone started whispering and filming me. I turned away from the camera flashes and saw Mason staring at me, dumbfounded. For a moment, he looked bitterly disappointed. Then he looked away and quickly left the party. I couldn't catch up to him and just trudged back to my aunt's house. I wanted to teach Karen a lesson. I was sure that she ratted me out to Norman. Chill, it wasn't me. I didn't turn you in or break my word. Then who told Norman about me? I did it. I wanted to ruin your perfect career. What? Why? Because I was mad at you. You managed to become a famous actress, but my daughter did not. Even Karen's jaw dropped when she heard that. Mom, that was not cool. And you know what? Virginia's life is so crazy, I'm glad my acting career never took off. That was the first time my cousin took my side. I hoped that one day we could become friends. But for now, I went back home to my parents and to my old life. Photos from that party instantly went viral. Because of that, my producer was furious with me. But Dad put him in his place. That's enough. You're fired. We'll find another producer who doesn't make Virginia work so hard or find questionable projects for her. I was very grateful to my parents for their support, but I was sad about Mason. After that evening, he ignored my calls. Without that crazy but charming guy, my life lost its color. One day, I heard a noise outside. The security guards were trying to chase away a persistent fan of mine again, but when I came outside, I saw that it was Mason. It's all right, guys. He's my friend. I was afraid I'd never see you again. I didn't answer the phone because I wanted to think about everything. A penny for your thoughts? You know, as soon as I saw the strange new girl at school, I couldn't stop thinking about her. I don't care if you're a gorgeous actress or a weirdo who eats off the floor. What matters is that you are you. But what should I call you? Virginia or Gina? Call me your girlfriend. He pulled me in and I felt the frantic beating of his heart. I wanted that magical moment to last forever.